Rich Tarani. Thanks for watching. On our program today is Tunjai Sil. He's the VP of Business Development at Asia. Tunjai, welcome. How are you?
Good. How are you? Thanks for having me.
You're welcome. So your company is a player in the DSL market. You make DSL connections better for carriers and for end users and consumers. How does that work exactly?
That's an excellent summary. So we are identifying the sources of interference and noise at the physical layer and providing a software solution for the tier 1 telco carriers to better manage those lines. So we're about 200 people. Our founder is actually the inventor of DSL technologies with many, many awards, last one being the Marconi Award. He's a serial entrepreneur, and he is a very well-known Stanford professor. So his background is actually in this very topic of how to identify the source of noise and interference and do something about it. So our customer list is actually who is who in the large tier 1 telco world, which is very unusual in this market. And that's partly because of the special technology we're able to provide to tier 1s to manage their DSL connections.
So it really enables these providers to have higher levels of service, more bandwidth, happier customers, higher revenue.
Absolutely. Deliver more higher ARPU services, deliver all these advanced over-the-top or managed video to their end users. And all of these things are at the end feasible by having a more stable and higher level of service on DSL lines. Yes.
So in theory, that would pay for the equipment that you're providing in the software solutions, right?
It provides 10x or even higher return on every deployment.
Maybe time to raise prices. No, just kidding. Yes. Well, that's great. That's great. So carriers really have no reason to not at least reach out to you and consider working with you because, again,
absolutely,
they want to be able to provide better levels of bandwidth and service to their customers who are consuming more of both.
Exactly, and that's exactly why our compounded annual growth rate is over 35%. And we are deployed in the US with 90% market share. Latin America is a major player. In China, with the biggest carrier in China, and a major player in Europe. So it's very unusual for a company this size to be a global player.
That's great. So what is the most exciting thing about what you're doing here? I mean, what did the carriers say to you?
Mm-hmm. So the carriers are very much excited about us enabling them to deliver higher-end video or similar higher revenue-generating content over existing deployments. So
they don't have to dig up anything, no ditches.
Absolutely.
They just basically use what they have. And
something that they can show clear return on investment.
That's fantastic.
Yes.
And even if the line is got problems, there are some DSL lines which are older copper.
Yes, and there are ways to mitigate that, and we have several products in that category to address those issues.
Fantastic. Thanks for being here today.
Thanks for having me.